In this video, we're going to talk about the world-renowned Chinese businessman Jack Ma. We'll cover Jack Ma's 25-year journey from nothing to his rise, his fall, and his comeback. Some people even call his life story Magic Jack because it's truly incredible. His life shows us how one person can gather people together and build the Alibaba empire from absolutely nothing with just his own two hands. This will help us understand the relationship between the Chinese government and Chinese private companies and where the breaking point lies. This is something investors really need to pay close attention to. And for all the fans of the Manny Monster channel who enjoy stories about business inspiration, reasons for failure, strategies for getting back up, and tactics for competing with global rivals, I can tell you right now, you're gonna enjoy this video. It covers Jack Ma's story from nothing to success, downfall, and his comeback. Scan this QR code for more info. To support Manny Monster Money, just like, share, and comment to join the conversation. Most importantly, please hit the subscribe button for me. That way, when I upload my next video, we'll see each other again. Just one click per person is enough. No need to hit it twice. Thank you. Everyone thinks that to become as successful as Jack Ma, the founder of the Alibaba empire, you have to be really talented. Like, you must have been gifted since you were a kid, right? But if you ask whether Jack Ma was talented, honestly, from his childhood through his teenage years, the skill he was best at was failing. He was so good at failing, it's almost impressive. To be straight with you, if you measure Jack Ma by his grades as a kid, he wasn't just not talented, he was downright terrible. Jack Ma was the kind of kid who failed his middle school entrance exams twice. When it came time to graduate high school, he failed the exams 3 times. He tried to get into college and failed over and over again. And Jack Ma even applied to Harvard University, not just once or twice, but 10 times, and got rejected every single time, until he finally thought, whatever, I'll just go to a local university. So he ended up studying English at a local college. After graduating, he was an English teacher. In China, the salary was quite low, making only about 500 baht monthly. Jack Ma's English skills came from his persistence. He constantly listened to English radio despite not being able to converse. Then, in the 1970s, as China opened to tourism, Jack Ma was like, hey. When foreigners first came to China as tourists, Jack Ma saw his chance to finally speak English since he'd been listening for so long and loved it. So Jack Ma did this. He would bike 40 minutes from home every day into the big city to hotels where foreigners stayed. Then he'd volunteer to give them free tours of the city in exchange for English lessons. Some people say Jack Ma's English skills really came from the streets, and that's true. He really did that. He practiced English this way for 9 years. 9 years, that's a long time. But you might ask, even though English wasn't very necessary in China then, did he struggle? Jack Ma applied for 30 jobs and was rejected by every single one. Once, he applied to KFC, the fried chicken place. They hired 23 out of 24 applicants. And Jack Ma was the only one who didn't get the job. You could say Jack Ma's childhood was like a series of failures. But do you know what was lucky for him? The lucky part was that Jack Ma was tough. No matter how many times he failed, no matter how many times he fell, Jack Ma never gave up. And then a light finally appeared in Jack Ma's life after China opened up to the world, right? At that time, starting your own company in China had just become legal, and there was a wave of people who wanted to start their own businesses. Jack Ma was one of them. He started his own company, and he actually succeeded. When he was 29, he opened a translation company. Well, since he was good at English, of course he'd go into translation, right? And it turned out that it failed. But that failure taught Jack Ma something. It helped him get to know himself. He realized that even though his company failed, running a business was still more fun than being a teacher. Then, in 1995, Jack Ma had the chance to fly to the United States for the first time. That was also the first time he got to try using the internet. He experimented with the internet, did some searching, and the first word he searched for was beer. He typed in the As soon as he hit enter, information popped up instantly. Jack Ma was amazed. He was like, "Whoa, Peter, you can really do all this?" That moment sparked inspiration in him. He thought, this is it. This is exactly what we should make available for Chinese people. So Jack Ma went back to China and started another business. This time he called it China Pages. It was like a Yellow Pages for Chinese companies, a way for Chinese businesses to create websites and get online through this platform. China Pages was a bridge connecting international customers to Chinese companies, but it was ahead of its time. In 1995, there were fewer than 1 million internet users in China, so China Pages didn't take off. That got Jack Ma thinking. Since it wasn't booming, what was next? So he decided to launch a campaign. At that time, when people talked about the internet, the most famous figure in the internet world was Bill Gates, the owner of Microsoft. Jack Ma thought about this and figured he needed to create a campaign, one that said, "Look, I'm Bill Gates and I see the huge importance of the internet because the internet is going to transform every aspect of our lives." It was a campaign that it was really strong, really impressive, and it turned out that this campaign worked. It got all sorts of private companies in China excited about using the internet more, and you could say everything was great, except for the part where Jack Ma claimed Bill Gates said those words. That wasn't true. Jack Ma made it up. But anyway, China Pages started booming and more people began using it. More and more people started using the service, but China Pages made a big mistake. China Pages charged Chinese users a monthly fee. Well, you just can't do that. Chinese people don't like monthly service fees. So China Pages was already struggling to survive, and on top of that, it got hit again by the unique Chinese business culture, which was that China Pages got copied. Their entire business model was ripped off, and the company that copied them was really something else. Not only did they steal the business model, but do you know what they named their company? They called it China Page. Without this, it looked exactly the same. If you were not paying attention, you would definitely click the wrong one. So Jack Ma ended up shutting down China Pages in less than 2 years and went back to working as a civil servant. You can see that he kept trying and failing, but even though China Pages did not make it, Jack Ma was confident about one thing. He knew he was on the right track with doing business on the internet trend. Then in 1999, Jack Ma gathered 17 friends in his apartment and said, "Hey, let's start an e-commerce business together." And Jack Ma gave this rousing, inspirational speech. Back then, what was e-commerce? There were no examples of successful e-commerce businesses anywhere in the world yet, so everyone was really confused. But Jack Ma had a real talent for inspiring people. So those 17 friends said, "Let's do it. Let's all work on this together." Then someone asked, "Okay, what should we name the company?" Jack immediately said, "Alibaba." And his friends were like, "What? Alibaba? That's not even a Chinese word. Is that a good idea?" Jack said, "Yes, it's easy to remember." His friends were like, "It's from that Arabian Nights story with the 40 thieves. Okay, fine, let's go with it." So Jack Ma was like, besides being easy to remember, Alibaba also comes first in alphabetical lists. When you scroll down, it shows up at the top, right? And then everyone got started. Once they began working on Alibaba, everyone worked really hard and put in a lot of effort. But Jack Ma made it clear from the start, we're not aiming to be number one in China. We work hard, but not just to be number one in China. We're going to be number one in the world. As I mentioned, Alibaba was founded at a very fortunate time. When Jack Ma started Alibaba, there were only about 2 million internet users in China. But the following year, that number jumped to 9 million, and just 6 months later, it increased to 17 million. One of the reasons Jack Ma was so successful is that he set his goals extremely clearly. As I mentioned, he didn't aim to be number one in China. He wanted to be number one in the world, right? So Jack Ma made it clear that the competitors he was going up against weren't Chinese companies. He was competing with Silicon Valley in the United States. Jack Ma once said exactly this: "Our competitors aren't in China. Our competitors are in Silicon Valley, in the United States." And he said that when all of our minds are put together, we're just as strong as they are. So this is the reason why we have the courage to fight. And yes, we will fight. So what advantages does Jack Ma have in China over Silicon Valley? To be clear, it's about cost. Jack Ma once said that to keep a top engineer happy in Silicon Valley, you have to pay them around $50,000 to $100,000 a month. But in China, with the exact same amount of capital, we can keep 10 top engineers happy. So Jack Ma's biggest advantage in terms of cost is leveraging the local Chinese workforce. That's how he wins. And Alibaba became an incredibly attractive prospect for investors. Around the end of 1999, Alibaba received a massive investment of up to $25 million from the prestigious Goldman Sachs and from Masayoshi Son. Check out the Masayoshi Son video linked here first. Finish this video before checking that one out. After that, Alibaba expanded fast, reaching 150,000 global employees. Alibaba was thriving and drawing massive interest because people bought directly from Chinese manufacturers at low costs. Then Jack Ma decided to launch an IPO, but they faced the dot-com crisis. When the dot-com crisis hit, internet companies went bankrupt left and right, including Alibaba. The company's valuation dropped significantly. And another very important problem at that time was that Alibaba seemed to be on the rise, right? But they didn't have a clear revenue model. Even though customers were buying things, it didn't generate that much income. It wasn't that profitable. Today, everyone knows that e-commerce could generate revenue from customers clicking to buy. So at that moment, even though Alibaba seemed to be thriving, believe it or not, they weren't even making $1 million in revenue. And when the dot-com crisis hit, Alibaba's rapid expansion, which I mentioned earlier, with something like 50,000 employees, became a huge problem. It was a massive fixed cost that Alibaba had to shoulder, and they almost didn't make it through. If Alibaba hadn't been so lucky with their timing, things might have turned out differently. Because what happened then was, in the year 2000, China joined the WTO. With free trade, it became an era where a flood of Chinese products from factories in China could finally reach the global market. And Alibaba was right there, becoming the main channel to facilitate that. By exporting Chinese products to the global market, Alibaba was able to survive the dot-com bubble. After that, Jack Ma started laying off employees and cutting costs, which made the company more efficient. Then, in 2003, they launched a website that wasn't just business to business anymore, but also C2C, customer to customer. It was called Taobao, which in Chinese means treasure hunting. And Taobao was launched specifically to go head-to-head with Western e-commerce giants, namely eBay. Taobao openly declared itself as a direct competitor to eBay, and the rivalry was out in the open. There was even a time when Taobao employees dressed up as soldiers as a symbol of their battle against eBay. Honestly, just thinking about Taobao taking on eBay, which at that time was valued at $30 billion, was already a daunting prospect. And on top of that, they had more capital, more people. How could Taobao possibly compete? But Jack Ma wasn't afraid of going up against a giant at all. He knew exactly what strategy he needed to take down a giant. And that strategy was for Taobao to have a much deeper understanding of Chinese people than eBay does. Jack Ma famously once remarked that eBay is like a shark in the ocean, while Taobao is like a crocodile in the Yangtze River. If we fight eBay in the ocean, we'll certainly be defeated. But today, they're fighting us in the Yangtze River, right here in our very own home waters. So we're gonna win this battle between Taobao and eBay. It was a real turning point. But the thing that really knocked eBay out almost completely was that Taobao understood Chinese people better. Taobao let Chinese people use the platform for free, while eBay made a massive strategic blunder by charging fees to Chinese users. I've said it on numerous occasions. Chinese people don't like paying monthly fees or any kind of service charges. The only thing I'll ever use is something that's completely free. Jack Ma truly and deeply understood Chinese people, whether they were buyers or sellers on Taobao. They could use the service completely free. Their revenue model was based on selling advertising space. Jack Ma really hit eBay hard. Offering free service was already a major blow. Then he followed up with another punch by launching Alipay, a trusted financial transaction service between buyers and sellers. eBay could only pack up and go home, losing millions of dollars in their attempt to beat Taobao on its own turf. And in 2007, Taobao managed to defeat eBay, capturing a market share as high as 67%. That was a clear victory. After that, Jack Ma even secured funding from Yahoo, up to $1 billion. Honestly, at that point, Jack Ma was already getting rich. He didn't really need that much funding. But Jack Ma has a saying that we should remember. He said that you should raise funds when you don't actually need them. Because if you wait until you really need the money, it's already too late. And yes, Jack Ma's Alibaba empire was massive at that point. But who would have thought that after reaching such great heights, Jack Ma's journey would hit a major stumbling block? After that, Jack Ma launched a company separate from Alibaba called Ant Group. It's a fintech company, basically a sibling to Alibaba. At that time, in 2020, Ant Group was the largest financial company in the world in terms of transaction volume. In 2020 alone, the company processed transactions worth as much as $17 trillion. So they were preparing for an IPO, aiming to raise about $35 billion. And then there was an incredible amount of PR, big announcements, and all sorts of grand events. But everything took a sudden downturn at the Bund Financial Summit in Shanghai in 2020. That's where Jack Ma gave a speech that was exceptionally critical of China's financial system, maybe even a bit too harsh. What's more, he made those comments right in front of both current and former high-level regulators. Right after he finished speaking, the IPO of Ant Group was immediately shut down. It just disappeared. There was no IPO at all. And Jack Ma vanished from the media and public eye from that day on. After that, it became an event that led the Chinese government to impose extremely strict measures to control and oversee the country's tech giants before things got out of hand and became uncontrollable. One of the companies affected at that time was Tencent, the biggest tech company in China. Do you remember? If you don't, go check it out. It's in Tencent Episode 3. And because of those government measures, the value of Chinese company stocks just vanished from the market. It disappeared in the blink of an eye, $1.5 trillion. This clearly shows that no private company, not even giant tech empires, can be bigger than the Chinese Communist government. That was the case until February 2025, just earlier this year, when Jack Ma reappeared. He appeared in public media alongside Xi Jinping. This return made it clear that Jack Ma must now fully understand just how limited freedom is in China. Still, Jack Ma's comeback caused Alibaba's stock to surge by 50% that day, and Ant Group's profits increased by as much as 50 times. Today's story reminds us once again, when you fall, don't stop just yet. Keep going, master the rules, and play to win, because no one really knows. Someone who seems like a nobody or someone who's failed over and over could one day become the owner of a giant empire like Jack Ma.